Now as an offering to the lizard gods, take my body so that I may be whole once again. Let the transformation commence. It's happening. Ask yourself this question. When was the last time you truly anticipated something that you hope would be good? Now I want you to think, when you finally got that thing that you were pondering on for so long, was it truly as good as you expected it to be? I remember waiting for Across the Spider-Verse to finally come out, hoping that it would be as good as the first film, and by the powers that be, they landed the plane safely. Thank goodness. Now, on the topic of GTA 6, I'd like to think that this far into all the delays and all the waiting, I don't have the highest hopes for it, honestly. A 13-year gap creates a mountain of expectations at this point. Think about it, what on earth could they possibly provide in a video game that was worth a 13-year wait that you would be satisfied with? If there's a setting that warps my body into the fucking game, 13 years and billions of dollars years later, that's a damn good proposition. But if all I'm anticipating is Bang Bang Shoot 'em Up 6, then I don't think it'll quite fulfill me at the game's launch, and I'm sorry, I'm just gonna have to check out. Like I said, a 13-year gap creates a wall of expectations. People are gonna pick this game apart for the most minor details, and I mean minor details. Bro, this game doesn't even have good air physics. My character has the worst vertical known to man. This game isn't even as realistic as I thought. I thought this was going to be the first GTA that introduced actual ass-wiping mechanics. What a waste of my time. I could have been playing fucking Mario. Yes, people are going to be pedantic, but can you blame them? 13 years just make it tougher to execute a launch on what's possibly going to be the most anticipated game of this generation. I was just graduating high school when GTA 5 came out, and at the time I was a dumb, innocent, confused boy trying to figure out how to become a successful man. And here we are, 13 years later, dumber, less innocent, and more confused than ever before. Here I am wondering, how does this game break my ceiling of expectations? What am I hoping for? What could possibly win me over on release day? Well, the only thing that any good content source can provide me at the ripe young age of 32 years old. A strong narrative, memorable characters. I need depth, damn it. What, you think I'm sitting around watching romance anime for my health? I'm trying to feel something to heal my numb soul. Because you know, when I really think about it, some of my most favorite stories in the world are those that leave a lasting impact on me, made me want to evolve as a human being, and give my life over to the lizard god in exchange for a lizard body. But let's get back to the Spider-Verse series, right? It literally became one of my most favorite renditions of the Spider-Man movie series. Before then, the Sam Raimi films had me in a chokehold, and the video games that were inspired by it practically became a core memory of my childhood. But the thing that I found so interesting in the Miles Morales story, outside of things like ethnic representation and its modern pop culture aesthetic, was the simple concept that anybody could wear the mask. The movie was just a walking invitation to remind everyone that they can all achieve greatness within themselves. Spider-Man wasn't just this idea that was laid out before us, because we can all be Spider-Man in our own unique way. So yes, even you watching this can wear the mask. Hurry up and put it on, I don't got all day, goddammit. And I was almost so critical of this movie before even watching it. Thank goodness I wasn't being a stubborn millennial, and I actually went to go watch something that transformed me internally. That's the power of a really good story. Yes, good content can transform people, whether it made me want to be a better person, or it made me want to be a worse person, or it made me understand what true love or true fear felt like. It had impact, it had layers. I can't forget it because it was that good. Unfortunately, nothing is good enough to satisfy the offer of the lizard gods. Can Rockstar tell a story with that kind of lasting impact that was worth the 13-year wait? Because graphics aside and all the new physics we can expect, will the narrative move me in any way? I'm not saying this is anything that's gonna make GTA 6 a perfect game or anything like that, but at the very least, it's definitely gonna make up for all the little nitpicks Rockstar can expect when we finally get to play this game. And looking at the source material, Rockstar might be on to something that could work. Apparently this game is gonna be a Bonnie and Clyde style duo between our main characters. That definitely creates a strong foundation for a storyline, but how it's executed makes all the difference. I think this is the most emotional bonding we've seen in a GTA game yet, and I think having a couple can create some interesting dynamics and conflicts for some really strong storytelling. Plus, it's already based off of a really strong concept. Now here's a brief Wikipedia paraphrase summary that I'm going to quickly recite to you of the true Bonnie and Clyde story. Bonnie and Clyde were outlaws who traveled central United States with their gang during the Great Depression, committing criminal acts such as bank robberies, kidnappings, and murders between 1932 and 1934. They preferred to rob small stores or rural gas stations. They're believed to have murdered at least 9 police officers and 3 civilians. Good lord, keep in mind, this is still real life. We're not even playing GTA yet. On May 23rd, 1934, the couple were ambushed and killed on the Louisiana highway, thus ending the infamous criminal spree of the 2 lovers, Bonnie and Clyde. As you can see, the source material is already strong on its own. Now, how Rockstar decides to spin their own version of a Bonnie and Clyde duo story is going to be very interesting. You guys spent approximately $1.5 billion on this game. I don't think it's too much to ask for a compelling story that makes the main game worth exploring. In other words, you guys had more than enough time to write your essays. If I'm ever spending that much money on anything, which I don't plan on doing, I'm rounding up the Avengers of storytelling and I'm locking them up in that studio until they provide me the best possible story that money can buy. I don't care if your arms fall off, Stephen King. I need you to keep writing. When you think about earlier titles like San Andreas, you didn't need the best graphics or the best controls, because even thinking about it today, although I hated playing the definitive edition, I can't argue, that story still holds up. The game created a lot of curiosity behind me wanting to figure out who killed CJ's mother, and him trying to understand how much things have changed since he's been gone from Los Santos. How did CJ get framed for a crime he didn't even do? Are all his friends actually the same loyal friends he's always known them to be? See what I mean? Definitely a lot of questions that make you want to get to the bottom of things and figure out what the hell is going on in this character's life. Another game, a part of the definitive edition, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. By the way, which is, in my opinion, one of the best soundtracks in all of GTA OSTs. Fight me, shoot me, I don't care. Cry about it. Then I want you to go think about it and cry about it even harder. Also, to the friend of mine who I was having this debate with about GTA Vice City having the best soundtrack, I'm gonna be honest with you. When you and I were talking about this shit, I agreed with you just to validate your ego. I just didn't want to continue the back and forth. But here's how I actually feel. Vice City does have the best soundtrack. You pompous, overzealous, narcissistic bitch. Now, if you want to go, meet me under the 151 highway at 6 o'clock. Again, terrible controls now that we're looking back on it, because we didn't know any better and gladly participated as early cavemen that didn't understand the concept of fire yet. When Tommy Vercetti gets his first mission after eating 15 years of prison time, he was robbed and he owed his boss an explanation and the money back. Can Tommy Vercetti build enough connections in the streets through various jobs and street politics to get back at the people who ambushed him and recover the money that was stolen back to his mob boss? How interesting. I wonder how the story's gonna go. Does Tommy succeed, or do they feed our main character with copious amounts of lead? But when I think of a game like Grand Theft Auto 5, this is where the story kind of loses a bit of its emotional appeal for me. I appreciate the advanced graphics and gameplay, but definitely wasn't all that thrilled narratively. And the story wasn't all that bad, I just felt like it didn't create the same kind of stakes that Tommy and CJ found themselves in. In GTA 5, the story felt like 3 guys who were looking for a huge come up in life. Kinda like we're trying to pull off one last big one before it's all over for the band kind of story. Unlike the first 2 games I just mentioned, the tone didn't quite hit me the same. Even GTA 4 had a really solid story. Let's just say that Niko Bellic had quite the interesting choice to make at the end of that game. But aside from the game's main story, what actually sold the hell out of GTA 5 was clearly its online multiplayer experience. That's literally the component that skyrocketed the game's success. Now that I think about it, Rockstar haven't even announced anything about an online multiplayer experience for this upcoming game, so who knows if we're looking at a separate game down the line or a DLC expansion? Couldn't tell you. You'd think they'd announce it by now following its previous success. Either way, I feel I'd be living in a fantasy if we somehow got that online expansion without paying a dime for it. Yeah, highly unlikely. You know, there's also such thing as dreaming too big, you know. So in the meantime, what's gonna sell me on an $80 game in 2026 that might not have the multiplayer at launch that could possibly sell me on the same game that we've been playing for years? Hopefully the story. And quite frankly, aside from that, I don't even know if it's even going to be enough for me, because GTA as a whole has become a bit of a boring, repetitive experience for me. Think about it, in its 13-year hiatus, think about how many games have came out that have provided that open world sandbox experience that you once only could experience in a GTA game. Well, obviously you have the Saints Row series long before it became utter garbage. You got games like Breath of the Wild that took the open world sandbox experience and turned it into a masterpiece. You have Tears of a Kingdom that exceeded Breath of the Wild's gameplay experience. Didn't think it was possible, but somehow they fucking did it. You got Cyberpunk 2077, you got Lego City Undercover, you got the Just Cause series, you got the Far Cry series, you even got Minecraft, people, and although you're not robbing cars and gunning down pedestrians, you can beat the ever-living shit out of a creeper. Straight assault. Police should be knocking down my door right now and taking me to jail for this heroic ass whoop. That's a very small data sample of some games that I'm familiar with, and that's not even scratching the surface of how many open world sandbox games there are that have been done to death at this point. And while I know GTA is obviously prepared to give us the best experience, especially with GTA 6 beautifully depicting my hometown of Miami, will it still have the same impact? I'm not sure. Based on these breadcrumbs that Rockstar has been giving us about this generational game, I just hope its narrative delivers, because that's my value of interest when it comes to these games at this point. And as far as the pricing goes, that shit could have been a video on its own. $80, but you're not saying anything about the multiplayer? That's like buying a quarter pounder without the buns. What the fuck? And I know it's not just GTA that has the $80 or $70 price point. I'm not playing any games that cost that much, but I guarantee you I will find a way to play it. Let me get this straight, there's no physical copy, just box cover art with a code inside of it? Well, if that's the case, then I don't even want the box. You think I collect the container that my iPhone came in? They want $100 for the limited edition, but there's no disc. I can't own the game? Seriously? Is my biggest flex for the extra $20 that I got a poster and a keychain with the GTA logo on it? What happened to being able to collect the physical thing that actually created my nostalgia? I'm paying all this money to borrow access to the game? Are you high? The only thing that can make this even worse is that I don't own the $80 game that I paid for, and they hit me with fucking microtransactions just to enjoy the game. And yes, I know I'm complaining, but bro, I can't even buy a house. Who's your target audience at this point? Sorry, scalpers, without a physical disc, you boys are starving this winter. Stomach touching your back. Because unless you somehow get people to buy the same $80 code for $1,000, you guys are out of luck. Outside of the million memes of people saying we got X before we got GTA 6, or the hundreds and thousands of people that made a video on a product that isn't even out yet, this is one of them by the way, 13 years of expectations for this particular game is quite the mountain to climb. And while I might not be the most excited for it, I truly hope that the consumers get exactly what they expected out of this game. Bang Bang Shoot 'em Up 6 just won't work this time around. We got plenty of games mimicking that. Rockstar has to crush this story and heighten the experience that we've been accustomed to. This is very crucial for them. Overall, greatness takes time. Can a 13-year wait amount to a game that we'll be talking about 13 plus years later? Can they do it? I guess we'll have to see in November. Now, as an offering to the lizard gods, take my body so that I may be whole once again. Let the transformation commence. It's happening. I'm turning. It's changing me.